My name is Amina Rahman. I was 19 years old when everything changed. The event in this story began on March 14, 2023. That was the day my private faith was discovered and my life moved from safety into danger. What had been hidden in my heart and in quiet moments was suddenly exposed, and from that day, nothing stayed the same. I was born into a traditional Muslim family. My family was respected in our community, and faith shaped every part of our daily life. From a young age, I was taught obedience, silence, and honor. I learned that questions were dangerous and that doubt was shameful. My parents were strict but believed they were protecting me. Our home followed rules closely, and stepping outside them was not allowed. I attended a local secondary school and later began college-level studies at home because girls were not encouraged to stay long in public spaces. Education for me was meant to prepare me to be a good wife and mother, not to explore ideas or beliefs. My days followed a routine: house chores, study, prayer, and staying inside. My life looked calm on the outside, but inside I felt empty and afraid to ask why. My curiosity began quietly. I came across Christian teachings through online materials meant for school research. Over time, I learned more. Someone showed me stories about Jesus that spoke of love, forgiveness, and freedom. Another person revealed to me that faith did not have to be forced to be real. These ideas stayed in my heart. I began reading secretly, always afraid of being seen. The fear was constant. I hid books under my mattress. I erased my phone history many times a day. I listened for footsteps before opening anything. Even breathing felt loud when I was alone with these thoughts. I knew that if my family discovered what I was learning, the punishment would be severe. In my world, leaving the faith of your family was seen as betrayal, disgrace, and a crime.
The persecution did not start with chains. It began with suspicion. My mother started watching me closely. My brothers checked my phone. Relatives whispered when I entered a room. I was no longer trusted. Meals became silent. My movements were restricted. I was followed inside my own home. Fear became my shadow. Then one evening, everything collapsed. My secret was uncovered. Someone showed my family proof of what I had been reading. From that moment, I was no longer treated as a daughter. I was treated as a problem that needed to be erased. My freedom was taken. My voice was ignored. I was isolated, watched, and warned of what would happen if I did not return to obedience. That was only the beginning. What came next was far worse than fear. It was the start of suffering that would test my body, my mind, and my faith, and it would lead me to a place where death felt closer than hope. After my secret was discovered, life inside the house became heavy and dark. Every room felt smaller. Every sound made my heart jump. I could feel eyes following me wherever I went. I walked slowly, spoke less, and tried to disappear, but it was impossible. My family no longer saw me as their daughter. They saw me as a shame they needed to correct. My father was informed of everything. He was shown the proof of what I had been reading and learning. From that moment, his behavior toward me changed. He no longer listened to my explanations. He made it clear through his actions that I had crossed a line that could not be ignored. My mother cried often, but she also pulled away from me. She was told that showing me kindness would make things worse. My brothers were given permission to watch me. They checked my phone many times a day. They followed me when I walked inside the house. They stood outside my door at night. My privacy was taken away completely. Even simple things like bathing or sleeping became moments of fear. I felt trapped, like a prisoner without walls. The persecution grew stronger each day. I was not allowed to leave the house, I was not allowed to study, I was not allowed to speak freely. Food was sometimes delayed as a way to break my will. Silence was used as a weapon. I was ignored for long hours, then suddenly surrounded and questioned again. My body stayed in one place, but my mind felt like it was being crushed. They told me through their actions that my faith had brought dishonor. They showed me that obedience mattered more than my life. I was warned, not with gentle words, but with harsh looks and threats. I was reminded again and again that people who choose a different path do not end well. Fear became my daily companion. At night, I cried quietly so no one would hear me. I pressed my face into my pillow and begged God to help me survive. I felt weak, lonely, and confused. I wondered if choosing faith meant choosing suffering. I wondered if I would ever see freedom again. The worst pain was not physical yet. It was emotional. It was knowing that the people who raised me were ready to hurt me to protect their beliefs. It was realizing that love had rules, and I had broken them. I felt rejected, dirty, and unworthy of kindness. Days passed like this. Each morning I woke up hoping things would calm down. Each night I went to sleep knowing they were getting worse. The house felt like it was closing in on me. The air felt heavy. Hope felt far away. What I did not know then was that this suffering was only preparing me for something much darker. The punishment they were planning was not finished. It was only beginning, and it would soon move beyond words, beyond fear, and into a place where my life would truly be in danger. The days after my isolation felt endless. I lost track of time because every day looked the same. I woke up afraid. I moved carefully. I slept with fear pressing on my chest. My world became very small. It was no longer the outside streets or the sky. It was the walls of my house and the people inside it who now controlled my life. One morning, my mother came into my room with her eyes red from crying. She did not sit close to me. She stood near the door, like she was afraid of being seen talking to me. Through her actions, she revealed that a family decision had been made. She showed me that the elders had been informed. She made it clear that my faith was no longer just a family issue, but a community problem. That was when I understood that my life was no longer in my hands. Soon after that, relatives began to visit the house. They did not greet me with warmth. They looked at me like I was already lost. Some avoided my eyes. Others stared at me with anger. I was asked to sit in the center of the room while they stood around me. I was not allowed to speak freely. Whenever I tried to explain, someone would raise a hand or step forward to silence me. They showed me religious books and pointed to rules I had broken. They revealed to me that leaving the faith of my birth was seen as a serious crime. They told me through their behavior that repentance was my only chance. My body was there, but my heart was shaking. My hands trembled in my lap. Sweat ran down my back even though the room was cool. When I refused to deny my faith, everything changed. The tone in the room became hard. The patience disappeared. I was taken to another room and locked inside. The door was heavy, and when it closed, the sound echoed in my head. That room became my cage. The window was small. Light barely entered. I sat on the floor for hours, sometimes days, with no clear sense of time. Food became rare. Water was given only enough to keep me alive. My body grew weak. My head hurt constantly. My lips cracked. When I asked for help, no one answered. Silence was used to punish me. Hunger was used to break me. At night, fear was the worst. I heard whispers outside the door. I heard footsteps stopping near me. I heard plans being discussed in low voices. Someone revealed that my case was being discussed seriously. Someone showed me that mercy was running out. I wrapped my arms around myself and rocked back and forth, trying to stay calm. I thought about running away, but there was nowhere to go. The door was locked. The house was watched. Even if I escaped, I knew I would be found. The community was small. Secrets did not stay hidden. I felt trapped in every possible way. One evening, I was taken out of the room. My legs were weak and I struggled to walk. 2 people held my arms. I was brought into the main room again. This time, there was no discussion. There was no attempt to convince me. Their faces were serious and cold.
They showed me the ropes. My heart dropped, my ears rang, my body went numb. Through their actions, they revealed that the decision had been finalized. They showed me that my life was considered less important than honor. I was told through gestures and warnings that this was the consequence of my choice. I was not given a chance to say goodbye. I was not given time to prepare. My hands were tied tightly. The rope cut into my skin. My feet were bound as well. I stumbled as they moved me. I felt pain with every step. Tears ran down my face, but no one wiped them away. My cries were ignored. The people I loved had become strangers. As we moved outside, the night air hit my face. The sky was dark, and the stars looked distant and uncaring. I wondered if this would be the last time I saw the sky. I wondered if anyone would ever know what happened to me. I wondered if my life would end quietly without justice. My mind was full of fear, but also memories. I thought of my childhood. I thought of laughter. I thought of moments when I felt safe. I thought of the faith that had given me peace and hope. I asked God silently why this was happening, but I also asked for strength to endure. The journey felt long. Every sound felt loud. Every movement scared me. When we stopped, I realized we were far from home. The place was empty and quiet. There were no lights nearby. The ground felt cold beneath me. They pushed me down. My body hit the ground hard. Pain shot through my side. I struggled to breathe. The ropes were tightened again. I was left lying there, helpless, unable to move. That was when I truly believed I was going to die. Fear like that is hard to describe. It is not just being scared. It is your whole body accepting that the end is near. My heart beat fast, then slow, then fast again. My mouth was dry. My thoughts raced, then became quiet. I felt very small. I prayed silently. I did not use fancy words. I did not ask for explanations. I simply asked God to see me. I asked Him not to leave me alone. I asked Him to take my fear away if death was coming. Time passed strangely. Minutes felt like hours. I listened to the wind. I listened for footsteps. I listened for any sign of life. Every sound made me flinch. Then something happened that I cannot fully explain yet. Before that moment, I was completely broken. My body was weak. My spirit was tired. I had reached the end of myself. There was nothing left to hold on to except faith. This chapter ends here, at the edge of death, where hope seemed impossible and the night felt endless. What happened next changed everything. What happened next is the reason I am alive to tell this story.
There comes a moment when fear has done all it can do, and the soul reaches a quiet place where only God can step in. This was that moment for me. The moment when death felt close, but hope suddenly felt nearer than ever before. I was lying on the cold ground, unable to move. My hands and feet were still tied. My body was weak from hunger, fear, and pain. The night felt long and heavy. Every sound made my heart jump. The wind brushed against my face, and the earth beneath me felt hard and unforgiving. I believed my life was about to end. My thoughts slowed down. I stopped trying to escape because I could not. I stopped looking for help from people because there was none. In that stillness, I turned fully to God. I did not speak out loud. I cried inside. I placed my fear, my pain, and my life in His hands. That was when something changed. The fear that had been shaking my body began to fade. My heart, which had been beating fast, became calm. I felt a peace that did not match my situation. My body was still bound, but my spirit felt free. I realized I was not alone. In that moment, Jesus made Himself known to me. I did not see Him the way people see each other with their eyes, but I felt His presence clearly. It was stronger than the fear, stronger than the pain, stronger than death itself. He showed me that my life mattered. He revealed to me that my suffering was seen. He made me understand that no chain on earth could separate me from His love. Tears flowed from my eyes, but they were no longer only tears of fear. They were tears of relief. I felt held, protected, and remembered. The night no longer felt empty. Even though I was still on the ground, I felt lifted inside.
Not long after that, I heard movement again. Footsteps approached. I expected the worst. My body tensed, but my heart stayed calm. Something had changed inside me, and I knew it. What happened next was unexpected. Confusion replaced anger. Voices sounded unsure. Plans seemed to fall apart. I was untied and left alone for a long time. Later, I was moved again, but not to harm me. The path that had been chosen for my death was suddenly closed. I survived. The days that followed were not easy. I was weak. My body carried marks of what I had endured. My heart carried deep wounds, but I was alive. And more than that, my faith was alive. The same faith that had brought persecution now became my strength. I was later separated from those who wanted to harm me. Help came in quiet ways. People showed me kindness when I least expected it. Doors opened slowly. Healing did not happen in one day, but hope stayed with me every step of the way. When I look back now, I understand something clearly. Persecution tries to destroy faith, but it often makes it stronger. Pain tries to silence truth, but truth finds a voice. The suffering I endured was real. The fear was real. The threat of death was real. But so was the presence of Jesus. I share this story not to bring anger, but to bring awareness. Many people around the world are still suffering because of their faith. Some are locked in rooms. Some are beaten. Some are rejected by their families. Some are facing death right now. They are not weak. They are brave. If you are reading this and you are a Christian, I encourage you to pray for those who are persecuted for their faith. Remember them. Speak for them. Ask God to protect them, strengthen them, and remind them that they are not forgotten. And if you are reading this and you feel a desire to turn away from sin and come closer to God, know that He is ready to receive you. Salvation does not require perfect words. It requires a sincere heart. You can speak to God now by admitting your need for Him, believing in Jesus as Savior, turning away from sin, and asking Him to lead your life from this day forward. My story began with fear, but it did not end there. I am alive because Jesus appeared, and because light is stronger than darkness, even in the darkest night.